Standard 9, Social Science, History, Chapter 2, The East and the West Era of Exchanges. Important points. The East and the West Era of Exchanges. Two main subtopics: spread of culture through and beginning of the modern age through. First one, spread of culture through trade routes, silk and spice, rise of commercial cities, rise of port towns, origin of the guild system. Next, beginning of the modern age through evolution of new universities and school system in Europe, Arab countries, China and India. Fusion of art and literature between the East and Western medieval countries, notable cons. Next, trade routes of the medieval world. The two major trade routes of the medieval period are the Silk Route, Sea Route. Trade routes features. These routes extended from eastern China to western Europe. These trade routes which connected the east and the west were known as the Silk Route and the Spice Route. Silk Route was a land route, while the Spice Route was through the sea. These routes passed through different trade centers. Next, reasons for growth in trade. The rapid increase in production, diversity of products, construction of roads and bridges, effective steps to control thieves and robbers. Next, cities of the medieval world. Reason for growth of the medieval cities. They began to mint their own coins, the presence of ports, the concessions provided to their merchants, encouragement from the administrators. Next, Western European cities features. The cities depended on the villages for food and fodder. They were generally small in size. The roads of these cities were narrow and unhygienic. The buildings were built on wood and were thatched with hay. The possibility of an outbreak of fire was very high as these cities were overcrowded. Majority of the city dwellers were merchants, craftsmen and laborers. The laborers of the cities were poor and hence they depended on others for their livelihood. Next, names of the medieval western cities. Genoa in Italy, Venice, Italy, Milan, Italy, Florence, Italy, Nuremberg, Germany. Next, eastern cities features. Baghdad, the capital of city of the Abbasia Empire, was an important center of trade and commerce during the medieval period. Constantinople, Istanbul, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, port city Basra on the banks of the river Tigris, Aden, Makkah, Muscat and Damascus, Calicut and Surat. In Gujarat were considered as the famous commercial centers which took place in the northern part of the world. Many of them were famous even to compete with the European centers. Next, names of the medieval Eastern cities: Baghdad, Istanbul, Basra, Aden, Makkah, Muscat, Damascus. Next, socio-economic structure of the medieval world. Guilds. The guilds were the association of experts in different occupational sectors. Next, formation of guilds. The formation of specific occupational sectors, the necessity to withstand the excessive taxation and exploitation, sense of organization. Next, aims of guilds: to foster mutual help and cooperation, to maintain the monopoly of the markets and the attainment of economic stability. Next, kinds of guilds: merchant guilds, craft guilds. Next, responsibilities of guilds: division of labor, framing labor laws, maintain the quality of products, fixing of prices, determining the mode of trade, determining working hours. Next, decline of guilds: industrialization, growth of science and technology. Next, education of the medieval world. Subjects taught in schools: grammar, Latin, astrology, literature, philosophy, mathematics, laws of nature. Subjects taught in universities: philosophy, law, literature, medicine, geometry, different languages. Names of universities: Bologna in Italy, Constantinople in Turkey, Paris in France, Oxford, Cambridge in England. Features of educational system. The education had got more importance, the progress increased in the trade and the emergence of the city life. There were facilities for the primary education and higher education. The schools were established to provide primary education in basic education, Greek Roman knowledge, and Islamic knowledge. West. Peculiar features of Cordova University. It was established by the Arabs in Spain. This library, which had thousands of manuscripts, this university provided languages such as Greek, Syriac, Persian, and Sanskrit. Arabic version of books originally written in these languages was available in the library of this university. Next, functioning of the school system in medieval period. Many schools had started for the primary education. Education of women was restricted, and those who got the rare opportunity for education were nuns and the children of rulers and nobles. The major subjects taught in medieval schools were grammar, Latin, astrology, literature, philosophy, mathematics, and law of nature. There were many universities for the higher education. The universities like Paris, Cambridge, and Oxford were considered as the great contributions of the medieval period. East. Arabs, famous educational institutions that established by the Arabs. The University of Baghdad, the University of Damascus, Al-Azhar University in Egypt. Peculiar features: it had begun from primary education to higher education. Women also got opportunity to learn as men. Ladies were given the opportunity to become teachers by attaining the degree Ijaz. This was an example for giving opportunity for female. China, peculiar features: knowledge was imparted by a single teacher. Learning started in the educational institution at the age of 6. The Buddhist philosophy was a compulsory subject in the schools attached to the Buddhist viharas. India, subjects: grammar, astronomy, language, philosophy, literature. Education system of India, the Gurukula system. Next, art and literature of the medieval world. Style of music: the Western music, Arabic music. Style of painting: Santa Trinita Madonna by Senni di Peppo is an example of the progress of painting during this period. Authors and their works. Authors' works: Omar Khayyam, The Rubaiyat, Al-Firdausi, Shahnama. Ibn Khaldun, Kitab al-Ibad. Thomas Aquinas, Summa Theology. St. Augustine, City of God. Kalhana, Rajatarangini. Jayadeva, Geeta Govindam. West, styles of architecture: Romanesque style, Gothic style, Carolingian style. Next, Carolingian style, the new style by combining ancient Roman styles with the Byzantine style. Emperor Charlemagne formed this style. Features of Carolingian style: the domes, arch-shaped dome, huge pillars, and mosaic floor. Influence of Crusades: the Europeans got acquainted with the Islamic culture during the Crusades. Art and literature were exchanged during this period. The Western style was profoundly influenced by the Eastern art and architecture. The Platonic Academy of Florence and the Queen's Vinget's Hospital of Paris, constructed by the French Emperor Louis IX on his return from the Crusades, were examples. Next, East. Arabic musicians: Ibn Misja, Ibn Muhris, Ibn Surai. Next, science of the medieval world. West, Roger Bacon, invention of aircrafts. East, scholars and contributions: Ibn Sina, medical scientist, philosopher. Ibn al-Qasim, the father of surgery. Muhammad al-Razi, anthropology. Bhaskara II, astronomy. Arabs' contributions: the Arabic numerals and zero from India were popularized in Europe. Chemistry was developed as a science. The Arabs were the inventors of the subjects like algebra and optics. China contributions: Mariner's compass, printing, seismograph, astrolabe, gunpowder. Influence of crusades: the instruments used for making telescope, street lights of the cities and waste management programs, mechanical clocks, principle of the gear, surgical instruments, algebra, alchemy, and trigonometry.